Hey, Jeff here, your YouTube reviewer of New England brews. Welcome back. Today, from Nantucket, Massachusetts, I'm going to be reviewing one from Cisco Brewers, and this is their Grey Lady Ale. Grey Lady Ale is a wit beer, or a white beer. A white beer is usually kind of a lower alcohol, a pale color, and an unfiltered beer. Some of the more famous white beers that you have probably heard of, especially if you're not really a regular to craft brews, you've probably heard of Hoegaarden, and you've probably heard of Blue Moon. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that I'm comparing this one to those two particular beers. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what a white beer is all about. White beers, as I said, come in at a low alcohol by volume, and that is the case for this one. This comes in at 4.5% ABV. So, I'm going to give it a taste and pour it and smell it and all that stuff and see what happens here. Okay, top cap is off, and I'm going to pour it into an Allagash glass. How's that? Seems appropriate. Alright, pouring it now, and it's as expected. It's kind of a light pale yellow kind of color. That's to be expected for this kind of a beer. However, I don't really, maybe a little cloudy, not terribly cloudy, just enough that you can't really see through it clearly, but there's a bit of a fog in this particular glass. Not much of a head in this. A fairly good carbonation. Let's give it a whiff. Okay, I definitely notice a bit of the citrus elements that go with a white beer. Spicy, you know, a bit of the yeast. You know, I notice a bit of the coriander going on here, and kind of a lemon zest. Yeah, there's a bit of a lemon zest going on here. Let's give it a taste. Oh, okay, the body on this beer is fairly lightweight. I wouldn't call it watered down, nothing like that. It's more of a medium body texture somewhere in that area. Definitely not heavy. Kind of a smooth creaminess going on. The taste on this one is kind of, well, it's not a bad white beer. It just doesn't have a lot of excitement going on here. Yeah, I definitely notice a good lemon zestiness going on. Absolutely, there's a good lemon zestiness, and I notice a bit of the spices going on here. Can't quite put my finger on what the spices are. Coriander is fairly typical of this sort of style. Not overpowering in that regard, but you just notice this kind of a yeasty sweetness that seems evident with this kind of a beer. But overall, for a white beer, it's actually kind of a nice one. A wit beer, white beer. It's very pleasing. It's very pleasant, very refreshing. I'm drinking this in March. This is the kind of beer you want to drink maybe in July, because it's got that lemon zestiness, that sort of a citrus element going on as well. It's more meant to refresh. It's not really meant to, you know, really something that you sit down and savor. All beers, I savor all the beers. I will say that. I do like to savor all the beers that I have. But this is the kind of beer that goes really well on a hot day, I would think. Maybe a barbecue going on or something like that. Something that just kind of really, you know, puts you in the spirit of warmer weather and summer weather and the beach and that kind of thing. Style-wise, it seems fairly typical. I've had some better white beers. This isn't too bad. Definitely does not have any kind of an aftertaste going on. It seems fairly well balanced for the most part, with a good sort of a mild hoppy bite at the end. But really, it's kind of more the zestiness and the citrus that's going on here, and maybe some of the spices. So, would I go out of my way to get this all the time? I'm not necessarily, but it's definitely a beer that's worth having at least once, just to try it out and see what it's like. And that is the Cisco Brewers Grey Lady Ale. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you again next time.